What's up, everybody? That Brown Bat is back once again in another Brown Bat's Toy Box tutorial. And this is my fourth or fifth attempt at doing this. Oh, wow. Tutorial videos aren't as easy as you might think. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you know how to describe it with words. All right. I was asked if I could do a tutorial on Dagobah, how I made Dagobah in one of my previous videos. Now, of course, Disney Infinity, for some reason, has not had the idea to, let's give these Dagobah pieces, because they cut the Dagobah scene out of the Star Wars Rise Against the Empire. And I can understand why. The reason they cut it out is because it's a multiplayer game. It was 1 to 2. Han was never on Dagobah. Han was never in the Death Star in Return of the Jedi either. I know they rewrote the story, but what would Han do on Dagobah? It was Luke's training. Han's not a Jedi. So what would Han do? It'd be funny. He'd be like inside Yoda's hut, like chilling out, saying like, I'm too old to be cramped up in a ball like this, because you literally had to crawl in there and lay down. There was enough room for Yoda and one person of regular size, I guess. I don't know. It was a small hut. All right, anyway, let's get to this. All right, what we have here is a big jumbled mess. We have clusters here, overlapping clusters. How did I do that? Everything's all white. What's going on? Okay, the all white terrain and the sky dome are unlocked by waiting in the toy box hub until you see the Yeti. You pick the Yeti up, you unlock it. Okay, that being said, I just thought it'd be cool because it is. All right. First thing I'm going to do is take these clusters. If you don't know what a cluster is, open up your ribbon, hit L1, and go to decorations, and then search until you find cluster category, okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces available that I could see as being useful. And surprise, surprise, none of them are Groot's roots. I wish they were. That would make sense, but Groot's roots is too gimmicky, and it's not useful for this. So I had to use the Dinosaur Valley terrain, which I think it's under, yes, it's in the Marvel 2.0 category. And I don't know why it was stuck with Marvel. If it had to do with the Savage Lands, that was weird, because Savage Lands, I think Magneto, and Magneto is Marvel, of course, but Magneto is Fox franchise owned, and whatever. Not getting into that. It's stupid legal stuff. So anyway, I'm going to take all these terrain pieces and show you how I got these terrain pieces. They're not terrain pieces. The cluster pieces to overlap. So what we're going to do, if I can highlight one of them. Okay. You have 2 different styles that you want to start off with. Or one of 2. Nice land terrain or the digital. I have a hard time finding it. Oh, it's right there. Retro. That's why I can't ever find it. I'm looking for the word digital. Retro game terrain corner. So either that or nice land. Since I like the retro game corner more, I want to theme all. And this is pretty much how you would start using those 3 different pieces. The 3 different pieces being, watch this, Fantasy Terrain Corner 2, Fantasy Terrain Corner 1, Fantasy Strip 1, and Fantasy Terrain 2. And I'll show you why we wanted to change this. And I already have these set to one of the two, either Niceland or the retro game. The reason being is the bases are square. You can fit multiple ones down. Okay? Now, here's another. This is how I overlap these. See this right here? Strip number 1. All right? I'm going to select it. Put it down. And then I'm going to back out. Not back out, but undo. Okay, now there's a glitch in the system, and it existed in 2.1. It's never been addressed. Where once you back out of a cluster, you can't put it down. But you can change it. And when you change it, the image stays there. It's really not there. If I were to save the game and come back into it, that would be gone. But here's where it gets good. All right, so I'm going to have these pieces overlapping in here. Let me get a corner here. See if there's enough space. Yep, right there. I'll do that. All right. So now, let me just prove this to you. See, there's that blue outline. Where'd Yoda go? All right. So it's there. I mean, it's not there, but the image is still there for the time being. But since the image is there, you can select any of these. Go to your paint palette. Theme all. Let's use Niceland Terrain. And of course, a lot of times when you overlap stuff, you can see the. I don't know if you can see it with the recording, but the surface area will flicker. Okay. Your base ground is got to be water. The majority of the water has to be big puddles. So what I did is I selected pond 1, and sometimes I would connect pond 1 to pond 1. Another one you can use is lake if it fits. Try to stay away from pond 1, or pond 2. Pond 2 works. There's nothing wrong with it, except when I'll show you right here. Let me take this pond 1, change it to pond 2, and now if you're in a bind and you need to select these to pull them out, you can't put pond 1 back in there unless I think you can put a barrier piece down there to activate a barrier collision glitch, or you have to remove all the pieces on top. It's just too much work to put it on there. Okay. This texture right here, Dinosaur Valley terrain. This is the texture you want for anything showing upright, like these caves. I don't think there's too many mountains on Dagobah. Everything is formed out of the gnarl trees. So what we're going to do is find it. You might say, well, I don't have it. You got to buy it. I found mine on Amazon. I probably paid $5, which is robbery, but that's because you were using the blind bags. And so what people would do is they get duplicates, and of course they would flip a profit. That's just the way the world goes. Okay, but it still doesn't look like Dagobah. So I'm going to turn all these trees to see. You can do anything. You can turn dragon terrain, which is a decent forest setting. Death Star terrain, which would look like garbage because these are piece specific. They have every piece has a purpose, so to do that, it just looks like garbage. Endor. To see what the effect, you can just take the retro theme one and just start popping everything down, then make stuff your desired terrain. But we're not using Endor because, well, the trees are different in the bog. So I'm just going through Hoth terrain. Some of these might look cool, some might look like garbage. When I say garbage, I mean it doesn't fit because some of the pieces have a purpose. I mean, it looks like a graveyard. Just because some of these corner pieces have downed snow speeders. Anyway, Metroville, jungle terrain. Actually looks like a cartoon. Clan. I keep saying clan, it's Kiln. Man. Colby terrain. Of course, two palm tree-ish. Farmer Mickey. Monsters U. No Manesian. That's another one that's going to look with each piece, you know, it's kind of a specific purpose. It looks stupid. Pirates terrain. That's very palm tree-ish because they are actually palm trees. Pixie Hollow. And I want to skip over the desired one right for a second and go Briar Ridge. Now this gives you some forest coverage. I'll tell you that. Just want to walk around in this a bit. Now here's an issue that it might bother you, it might not bother you. When you place in the water a tree, you will clip, or not clip, you will, it won't go down in it. It won't go down into the water. Is there a way to do that? I think so, to fix that. But right now it's going to take a lot of work. Well, let me do it just so I don't leave you hanging. Go to Game Maker. I'm not doing this for everyone. I have another video that shows this, but in case you might not know where it's at. If you go to my playlists for tips and tricks or tutorials, it's the one with Luke. It's actually it's the first one in the playlist, I think. It's called Collision Barrier Hack. So I'm trying to find right now a simple style. Let's go to Niceland. Oh no, this is one of the overlapping ones. Poo 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 poo. Alright. Okay, let me get another one. Decoration. Up. Where's the big tree? Let me try the big tree. just because I don't want to risk having to reset the clusters. Because once you overlap them, you can't select it again. You have to delete some stuff and then restart it. Restart your process, not restart the game. Restart the process that you just did to get them to overlap. And I just don't feel like doing that. All right, so I'm going to select. I got the barrier. I set the tree one level down after I moved this water-based piece. I'm going to select the water again. Bring. Okay, I stand corrected. You can't break the barrier with it. Oh, wait. No. That was a waste of your guys' time. Can't break the collision with that. So you guys have no idea what I'm talking about? I do apologize. No, the collision barrier is supposed to allow you to overlap a piece and have it collide with another piece, bringing that piece inside the other piece. Just like we did with overlapping the terrain or the clusters earlier, but this is a different type of glitch. So anyway, it didn't work. So we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that tangled. When you put a cluster on the water, you're going to be able to see under it. You're not going to be able to walk on top of it unless you jump on it. Can you be more careful and not get into the water? Yeah, I was just in a hurry. So anyway, I don't think it's that big of a deal for you guys. I don't think you're concerned. Now that I reassess the issue. Now that does look cool. That looks cool, making that all tangled. I'm just curious here. Does this fit a theme like in real life, you know, with all the fence posts and... No, these are just random fences going every which way. But it's one of the things, if you look at it from a certain angle, it looks like I knew what I was doing. Alright, so Dinosaur Grove is what you want. Dinosaur Grove, of course, is the power disc, Dinosaur Valley. So theme all. Okay. Does it look like Dagobah? No. We're missing one thing. There it is, down there. What's... I'm on top of a thingamajig. Where I put the cave structure. One thing is missing, and I'm looking for it. It's a sky changer. I know it's not far from here. It's got to be this way. That's how I determine. This is how I determine whether or not I did a good job. Is if I get lost in my own world. And just a side note, when I was growing up, there was woods out back of my mom and dad's house, or parents' house. However, I guess I can say that. Well, it's where I lived. And during the summertime or after school, we would go out back and just go through the woods. And we were small, and it was big enough where for like the first year of playing around out there, we'd get lost. But imagination would totally like overtake us. We just come up with these things, pretend. And this is what this reminds me of. Some people are afraid any more about Lyme disease. I don't understand why it's more in abundance now, or was I just fortunate? Um, I do know I never wore shorts. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. I always wore pants, I always wore a shirt, I always wore a jacket. I don't know if they had anything to do with the ticks, or just because my mom was always praying, or what. Never got Lyme disease. Me, my brother, or any of our friends that just played out there all the time. So I don't know. Just very, very, very fortunate. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, I guess, because this is what this reminds me of. Putting all this stuff down. Adventure time with that brown bat. So go to properties, change the sky, and you want Syndrome Sinister Takeover Sky. Okay. And it totally changed everything. And now you have, I don't know if you can see this, Yoda has an outline when he's in the water. And the outline has like a fog texture. Now, the only problem we have is the tree type is not exact at all. This piece right here is okay. There's another piece somewhere around here. That little, these pieces are okay. But this type of tree, of course, is Dinosaur Valley. Would not be on Dagobah at all. Reason being is Dagobah is all swamp, and of course these plants could or did probably in history exist in a swamp, not the Dagobah type of swamp. They had trees that pretty much everything looked like the texture right here. There was no leaves on said trees. But until we can figure that out, or until we get a different tree texture, terrain piece, or whatever, decoration, we're stuck with this. So, if you don't have Dinosaur Valley, the only thing that you can use that I have seen that would suffice, there's one or two. For the trees, you're out of luck because there's no other trees that will match that. You can use the tree house trees, but they're too big. And they kind of look cheesy. But just to give you an idea of what happens when you turn everything to Forest Moon Endor. See how it just changes the color. The texture is wood, that barky texture. So it's totally different. And go to Endor. Just playing around here. I always do that. I get bored. Just start changing the terrain to see what happens. Where's Endor? Should show a big tree. A pointy tree. And again, this isn't Dagobah. This looks less like Dagobah, but it looks really cool. Any water that you put down and you have the Sinister Takeover Sky will have a fog effect. So again, this looks really cool. I will be using this in another game. I am working on a game. I will say that, but It's far from being done. People keep asking, why don't you upload this to Disney Infinity? It's a toy box. Because I don't upload stuff. Number one, it takes 3 weeks. For me anyway. The reason I say it takes 3 weeks, it could just be the circumstances at the time. It was the tail end of Disney Infinity 2.0. 3.0 was the release date was 3 weeks away, and I wanted to get, and it's still out there. You can get it for 2.0. I think it's called the Millennium Falcon Follies, or the Misadventures of the Millennium Falcon. One of the two, because I did a final on it and they did not post it. There were some things, I played it, and there were some things that wouldn't happen all the time that you need to happen. Anyway, that being said, I don't post until I have a finished creation. That being said, that's why I don't enter into the contests either, because these people can spit out games in a week, in 2 weeks, but they're not as big as I would like the games to be. So I utilize more than one toy box. Pretty much, I utilize the one I did for the Millennium Falcon. Utilized 8 toy boxes. And again, just look for that brown bat on Disney Infinity, and that's the upload that I have on there. And I don't know if you can play it on 3.0. No, you can't. Don't. I'll tell you why. The hacking terminal, that didn't exist in 2.0, and the hacking terminal replaces the terminal from the Avengers. And I tried loading some of the toy boxes that had that, the Millennium Falcon specifically, and it ruins the structure of those particular levels because it rearranges things, because that toy no longer exists in 3.0. They replaced it. So I guess that being said, you'd have to pop in your 2.0 disc and download it. Shouldn't be a problem if you have 2.0, right? The base is the same. It's just popping a different disc. I hope you didn't trade it in. I'm not going to trade mine in. You know, you never know. You want to play those play sets again. So anyway, I hope you like this tutorial. I don't think I left anything out, but you can do amazing things with this, even though you don't have all the parts. This just totally reminds me of my childhood. Oh, also, not also. That's not the conjunction word that I was looking for. Back to what I was talking about prior. Where's the dinosaur one? Go back. I am working on another game. I don't know how long it's going to take. When I work on something, it's a labor of love, and if it doesn't work out, I either scrap it or it takes forever to figure it out. Hopefully I don't end up scrapping it, but it takes a while, and you got to build your big old you got to build your scenic buildings. Now it would be easier if my interior, or Disney interior, the Disney Infinity interior, was a lot better than what it is. They did make some improvements, but not good enough for that brown bat. I'll tell you that right now. But that's enough for the rant. If I was going to make a game out of this, what I would do, it'd be a small one. I don't like orb collecting. I don't like time limit, little shoot targets things. I'm not into that. I'm into something's missing, go find it. Here's the maze. And that's what I do. I'd be like, Yoda needs to get to his house, find his house. And if I did that and I published this, that's my idea of a small game, right? If I submitted that, I wouldn't win anything on that. If I were to win anything, it'd be like, oh wow, I never thought of putting pieces down like that. That's what I intend to do. That's what I try to do, is stuff artsy. I'm all about the art, baby. And this has given me opportunity to play around with a dream that I had growing up. I wanted to be an artist, professional artist. So I guess I'm a Disney Infinity artist. There, see, I would like, Yoda needs to find his house. Find his house. Ding! Yeah, I would win. So that's all the logic connection I would put on a small game, but I ain't doing that. I just showed you guys how to do it. Y'all do it. Anyway, this has been that Brown Bat and Yoda. And, of course, this is an Ewok hut. But, see the door? Yoda would fit in the door. Yes, Yoda goes home and goes to bed. So, I will see you guys all on the next, or I'll see all you guys on the next That Brown Bat's Toy Box. I hope you like this. Give Yoda a big thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time. CIAO. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, smash that like button. And guess what? There's even more. Click on any of these boxes to view more awesome stuff. And don't forget to click that big subscribe button so you can be notified of all my upcoming videos. And again, I want to thank you for watching. This has been That Brown Bat signing off. CIAO.